welcome to all of you in the third episode of the webinar for the month of February. This episode is based on faculty mental well-being during COVID-19 pandemic. Dear audience, I hope you will respect the protocols of the webinar. Please use the chat box for your questions and the comments. Dear audience, this webinar is being presented and recorded through live stream that you can find through the sources of social media of University of Education. Dear colleagues, I'm delighted to introduce you with Professor Rafia Rafiq, who is a full professor faculty in the Applied Psychology Department, University of Education. She is a regular recipient of Performance Evaluation Award from University of the Punjab. She earned continuous research grants as well as incentive awards for the publication owners. She is a prominent figure of the Senate of University of the Punjab. She is an associate editor for the Journal of Behavioral Sciences, and currently she is a reviewer for more than 7 national and international journals. Very warm welcome, Dr. Rafia, for being here. Dr. Rafia's session is about the mental well-being. As you know, we are living in the turbulent times and compacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. The issue of mental health is not only relevant but the crucial. Mental health is more than presence or absence of a mental illness. It is a crossroad between emotional, psychological, physical well-being. This year, many people have faced serious challenges to their mental health. Along with the health impacts of the disease, COVID-19 has led to self and social isolation, disconnection from family and friends, quarantine and lockdown on movement, resulting in more people than ever experiencing feelings of helplessness, isolation, grief, anxiety, and depression. Demand for health support services has increased exponentially as a result of pandemic. Dear audience, let's welcome to Dr. Rafia to begin her talk about the faculty mental well-being during COVID-19 and the ways to cope up with the mental issues. So let's start your talk, and over to you, Dr. Rafia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sadia, and a very good afternoon to all the audience who have joined through Google Meet and who are going to listen to this talk through the live streaming session, and it will be live streamed through your university and through University of the Punjab. So I would request you to just share my presentation so that I can start off.
Yeah, sure. Okay, that's okay, ma'am. Can you see your slides, please?
Yes, I can see my slides. Okay, so basically, we will be talking about mental health and specifically with reference to the faculty mental health, but I have added a tint of students' mental health also because the mental health of faculty is quite contingent with the mental health of our students. And I would be discussing what is mental health because most of the audience who have joined us today are not from the field of psychology, and then we will be discussing what are the parameters that are important for mental health and what the pandemic has caused and what are the problems that people are facing in general and specifically the faculty is facing because we are teaching online and at times through different mixed method approach, and we were not mentally prepared for this, and we were not, some of us were not even quite aware of the technologies that were available for teaching. So I think so, okay, Sadia, can you share the first slide, please? The second slide. So as everyone knows that the spread of pandemic was just like a magical spell, and in matter of days so many countries got affected, lost lives and livelihood, and it was basically a very drastic change in our economy, and the economy started to collapse, and it was the worst time of 21st century, and I call it medical, psychological, as well as it was emotional emergency on daily basis. So but we were safe till the Ministry of Health on 27 February 2020 reported the first 2 COVID cases in the city of Karachi. Now, what is mental health? It is very important to understand the concept of mental health because we are all the time discussing mental health. Mental health is affected because of pandemic. Now, what are the parameters that are important and what is the crux of this word mental health? Mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. Basically, it is how we think, behave, and feel. We call it a cognitive triad. Like, what are our thoughts during this pandemic, how we are feeling during the pandemic, and what are our behavioral responses. So it also helps us to determine how we handle stressors because pandemic is a big stress for the faculty as well as the online teaching and the examination modes and everything, and how we relate to others during this pandemic because we are told that don't touch each other, maintain social distancing, and how we make choices about things like whether to wear a mask or not to wear a mask, whether to go to a place if there is a death in a close family, whether we should go there or not, whether we should attend a wedding of a close loved one. So all these are a part and parcel of mental health. So feeling safe and able to cope. This is very important because when the pandemic started, all of us suddenly started feeling very unsafe within our own home environments, also on the streets. Like there were days in which I would just go out and I would not take a deep breath because I would feel maybe this coronavirus, I would catch the coronavirus by even breathing in the air. So, and how we were able to cope with it. Another important aspect of mental health is that it is a sense of connection with people, communities, and wider environment, and how coronavirus and the social distancing and concepts like this, how we got disturbed with our connectivity with our people, with loved ones. We were unable to meet them, and what was our response to altruistic behaviors in the community, whether we would stop our car to make somebody give somebody a lift, because I usually give lifts to the students when I'm on the campus, but I stopped it all of a sudden, and it did affect my mental health also. Now, what is mental health awareness? And I'm really happy that now people are recognizing the importance of mental health and mental health awareness. It is very important to make the general public and the community aware of the concept of mental health. Now, mental health awareness basically means that we are not only acknowledging that mental health is important, but we are talking about it, just like I am communicating through this webinar to the audience at large and putting it out there so that people who feel too much can get the help they need too. So it's okay not to be okay at times, and it's quite okay not to be okay with the faculty also. It's not a concern. Mental health is not a concern of a specific group of people, a specific age group, a specific gender. It can be a concern for people like me who are social scientists, who are acting as clinical psychologists, who are dealing with their students. They have their own problems and stresses. Next, please. What does mental health affect? Now, it is a very pertinent question that mental health problems affect 1 in every 5 people at any given time. I am not talking about the statistics pertaining to pandemic. These are the general statistics I am talking about, and an estimated of 2/3 of all people with mental health problems are not receiving the help they need. This is the main concern that makes us realize why we have to talk about mental health issues during this second wave of pandemic, and overall the pandemic is still there, and I usually say that the physical and the medical aspects of the pandemic will be controlled one day, but the long-term repercussions, the psychological and the mental health issues and the repercussions are going to linger on for many years. So it is important to ponder on these things. In spite of this, mental health has often been conceptualized as purely positive effect. It is not, if you're happy, that does not mean that you are mentally healthy. It is marked by feelings of happiness and sense of mastery over the environment. So two important components: sense of mastery over the environment. People in good mental health can be sad, they can be unwell, they can be angry, they can be unhappy, and at times they can be very dissatisfied with their lives, but that does not mean that they have poor mental health. So we have to ponder on the real indicators of mental health. So what is the new definition? Like we say that we are living, redefining our lives, living in a new world, living in this new pandemic situation. So we have to redefine what is mental health. So mental health is a dynamic state of internal equilibrium which enables individuals to use their abilities in harmony with universal values of the society, basic cognitive and social skills, ability to recognize, express, and modulate one's own emotions, on which I would be talking at length. What is this to recognize our own emotions? At times we feel very sad, but we deny these feelings and we do not want to think about these feelings. So these are very important, how we recognize our feelings, and if we are able to recognize our feelings, then only we are able to express our feelings and modulate our emotions. So, and how we empathize with others, this is also very important. So all components proposed in the definition represent important, but they are not mandatory aspects of mental health. So they keep on changing. So you don't have to have all these things in order to in order to qualify for the basic parameter of mental health. How to keep yourself mentally healthy? This is the main crux of this webinar today, that why we are talking about mental health. So it is very important to keep yourself mentally healthy, especially during times of pandemic and during stressful times. Talking about your feelings can help you stay in good mental health and deal with times when you feel troubled. It is very important because people who don't talk about their feelings, who don't express their feelings, who don't even trust people, they are the ones who suffer from mental health issues. So be introspective, avoid coasting through life without assessing yourself. For instance, periodically ask questions as I am in denial about anything or resisting anything anywhere in my life. Okay, it is very important to analyze oneself, to introspect our own emotions, our own thoughts, and our own behaviors. Talking can be a way of coping with a problem you have been carrying around in your head for a while. So I usually suggest people that don't carry problems in your head. Come out with these problems. Talk with some loved one. Talk with people whom you trust. Just being listened to can help you feel supported and less alone. Talking things out is therapeutic in itself. So always remember, whenever you are troubled, whenever you are distressed, talk about your things. Don't keep them in your head, because they ultimately end up becoming a big bomb in your head. So the key questions, they are very important. Just consider, it is very important to note that you have to ponder on three main key questions. Do I have positive goals in life that I wish to pursue? There are people who are unhappy because they don't have any goals in life. So you have to have positive goals in life. How wide is the gulf between my ideal and real self? So at times, the more the disparity between your real self and what you really idealize and you want to become, the more the disparity, the greater would be the concern for mental health issues. So am I satisfied with the way I am moving forward in life? Many people are unhappy because they're not happy with the way they are moving on daily basis in their lives. Next. What are the predominant positives in my life? It is very important to focus on the positive aspects of your life, because everybody has a mixture of positive and negative aspects in our life. So positive, what are the positive aspects in life? Write them down. What are the predominant negatives in your life? Write them down, because journal writing is one of the best techniques in which you are able to, it's a therapeutic technique in which you are able to find what is really going on in your head. So am I adequately aware of myself? Self-awareness. Now, it is very important, which I would be talking in my next slide. It is basically the ability to focus on yourself and watch your actions, thoughts and emotions honestly and adequately. जब हम अपने आप से झूठ बोलते हैं, जब हम अपने आप को के बारे में नहीं जानना चाहते, denial में होते हैं, that also adds into our mental health issues. So a self-aware person is able to objectively evaluate him or herself, manage emotions, that is very important, align behaviors with one's own values, and understand how others perceive him or herself. Many of the people who are having mental health issues, their perception about themselves is altered, as well as their perception about how others perceive them is altered. So it is very important to be self-aware of all these things. Now, like we do this process of stock taking, we have to do stock taking of positive aspects of our life, like things you are grateful for, ways you take care of yourself, ways you take care of others, adequate self-awareness, proper goal setting. So these are the things that you have to focus on. So what are the negative aspects? What would be the stock taking about the negative aspects? So what's bothering you? Are there any events in your life, any people in your life, past, future, not sure what you want in life? Any of the people are unhappy because they don't know what they want in life, because they don't have positive goals in their life. Now, what are the negative thoughts? Common negative thoughts you tend to experience. They can vary from person to person. Don't have any tangible goals to pursue. Again, that would lead to negativity. And talking about emotions and behavior, there is a wide range of different types of emotions and what sort of emotions you are adopting, maladaptive behaviors, the lack of consistency in doing certain things, procrastination can be one of the reasons. So all you have to take a look at all the negative aspects of your thoughts as well as your emotions and behaviors. Now coming to stress, because all of us were quite stressed especially during the first wave of pandemic, and not to mention during the second wave of pandemic, our stresses have changed, but the stress is still there. So we have to work on our emotions. They are very important because some of us are feeling intense emotions during this stressful situation, and we have to work on our behaviors and our thoughts. So this is basically the cognitive triad which psychologists usually talk about. Next. Now, just like everything is interrelated, your thoughts determine your actions determine your feelings. You have to learn to differentiate between healthy and unhealthy emotions. So on the next slide, I will be talking about what is a healthy emotion and what are unhealthy emotions. So healthy emotions in like anger, it is a healthy emotion. We can feel angry. So unhealthy emotion would be rage. So healthy emotion can be curious, but unhealthy emotion can be jealousy. So healthy emotion can be orderly, unhealthy emotions could be controlling. So again, people who are very controlling in their lives also end up having a number of mental health issues. Self-love is good, but narcissism can be really bad. Next. Self-assessment and self-realization. So as I usually talk about one of very nice statement which Buddha gave, what you think you become. So by making sure you avoid negative thinking patterns and choosing to repeat positive affirmations, you can feel happier and change the course of your life. So again, our religion also tells us कि तुम जैसा गुमान रखोगे तुम्हारे साथ वैसा ही मामला होगा. So things what we keep on thinking, we end up ultimately behaving in the same way. Like it is a process in psychology. We call it self-fulfilling prophecy. कि हम जैसा सोचते हैं वैसा ही हम behave करना शुरू कर देते हैं, and ultimately we end up at the same level और हमारी वही destiny बन जाती है. Now thoughts, सोचें, they are very important. Tell yourself something positive. Research shows that how you think about yourself can have a powerful effect on how you feel. If you don't feel good about yourself, you are not going to feel good about anything else. Usually when clients come to me, I tell them, start loving yourself, start admiring yourself, be a lover of your own image. Love yourself, love your abilities, love your positives. So when we perceive ourselves and our life negatively, we can end up viewing experiences in a way that confirms that notion. अगर हम अपने आप को negative देख रहे हैं, ultimately we are going to look at other people in a negative way. We are going to look in the future as negative, and we are going to look at our past also in a negative perspective. Only use positive words when talking. This is very important. This might seem to be a very simple tip, but it really works well because it rewires our brains. So when you're talking to others and even yourself, try and stick to using positive words only and refrain from using any negative words. Like many of us have a tendency to say, oh, I'm so stupid, I look so ugly. Don't use these words for yourself also. So you should try and stop using words like, no, I cannot do it, it's not possible, it's not like me, I won't be able to do it, I will always be a failure. So these words will determine how you're going to behave and how you are going to feel about yourself. So this way you are changing your physical world, and your brain can start getting more and more positive messages, and your brain is going to get rewired in a positive sense. Value yourself. Just I was talking about love yourself, value yourself, treat yourself with kindness. There are many people who are not kind with themselves. They don't respect themselves. They are those with low level of self-esteem. They criticize themselves. And because we have to evolve, and we have to involve ourselves with positive things like hobbies, favorite projects, and we have to broaden our horizons, how we perceive ourselves in positively, and how we perceive our world and people around. Writing. It is a very powerful tool. I always ask my clients to write down things, journal writing, likhein. If something is bothering you, it can be bothering, and there can at times there's no tangible reason for the way you are feeling and behaving. So let it out on a piece of paper. Write about upsetting experiences, and it will help in reduction of negative emotions like anxiety, stress, and depression. Take time out. This is my favorite hot time, all time activity when I am so stressed out, because all of us have our own energies, and all of us have our own styles. Like I am an early riser. By the end of the day, I start feeling fatigued out, and then I need time out. And specifically when I was making short 1 minute videos for the public at large for mental health awareness during pandemic, I used to tell them, okay, just relax. 5 minute में कुछ भी फर्क नहीं हो जाएगा. Just go and sit where you want. You can sit under a tree. You can watch a bird drinking water. You can just go out and just look at the sky. You can look at the stars. You can look at the flowers, and anything you enjoy. So take 5 to 10 minutes out. That would relax you, calm you down. And then at times when we are unable to find solutions for certain things, that me time out, I call it me time. And I usually go in for me time many times during the day, because I want to feel relaxed and I want to enjoy the life. I don't want to be messed up here. अगर मैं इसी speed पे चलती रहूंगी तो I will be all messed up here, and I will be all negative, and I will be negatively evaluating myself, talking negative to my friends and family. So this is very important. Me time, your own time. Take time out. So remember what's important. This is very important. We at times get upset over little things, and in the long run, these things won't even matter. So when something is bothering you, just stop and just evaluate and think in a longer perspective. Will this problem, will this event, will this thought be important for me after 3 months, after 1 year, after 2 years? So this is a time check. Check your thoughts whenever you start getting stressed out because of certain events. Check them out through a specific timeline. That would really be very helpful. Just laugh. There are at times when I feel very upset and tired, and what I do is I watch all sorts of stupid and things that make me laugh. So there are sometimes we need to remind ourselves that no one is perfect, and that we should be enjoying this time with our loved ones, and that life should be fun and funny. Smile, laugh, and be happy. It releases a number of positive hormones also. आपका serotonin और आपकी ये चीजें जो है वो release होती हैं when you laugh. Even if you don't feel like laughing, just smile. When you smile, many positive hormones release. So make it a habit when you go out, come out for work, come out for taking a class, have a big smile on your face. That would create the positivity in you. That would make you feel very happy, and people who are going to watch you, they are also going to get very happy, and it would be a sort of a sadka jariya also. Use positive self-talk throughout the day. सारा दिन पॉजिटिव सेल्फ टॉक इज अ बिट डिफिकल्ट थिंग, लेकिन यू कैन जस्ट राइट दिस सेल्फ टॉक. यू कैन जस्ट राइट डाउन टुडे इज गोइंग टू बी अ ग्रेट डे. व्हेन आई गेट अप इन द मॉर्निंग, आई always focus on the positives. I say आज का दिन बेस्ट दिन होगा. आज का दिन I would be able to do most of the things, and if certain things I am not able to do, it is the will of the God. So everything is going to work out. If you say these are words that help in self-fulfilling prophecy also. So we are going to make it. I am going to make it. I am going to be able to complete my assignment today. next time I will do better. If you are unable to do something, you can always give yourself this statement that next time I will do better. Don't say I'm a stupid nut, I always mess up things and things like that. So this is great. So tonight I'm going to sleep peacefully and deeply, and believe me, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, I am able to sleep every night with peace and deeply. और ये मैं अभी थोड़ा सा आपको sleep hygiene पे भी बताऊंगी, how you are going to attain it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So don't engage much with negative people. Now, who are the negative people? People who continuously complain, continuously talk about negative things. These people vibrate at a lower frequency. They drag you to their level. If you just keep on listening to them and their negative things, all the positive energy in you would be drained out. And I think so many of us do experience these things. And I have few friends also, and I say कि आपने तो मेरे दिमाग में straw लगा दिया और मैं तो इस टाइम बिल्कुल ड्रेन आउट फील कर रही हूँ. सो पॉजिटिवली आप उन लोगों को भी हेल्प कर सकते हो. दिस मीन्स एंड देयर आर टाइम्स वी डोंट हैव टू गिव अटेंशन टू एवरीथिंग. सो यू हैव टू बी वेरी clever and stop giving your attention to negativity and negative things, and do not argue with these type of people, because sometimes negative people are in our family also, and people ask me question that madam, it's very easy for you to say कि नहीं जी audit these people, we cannot audit because they are a part and parcel of our family. So I always tell them that people will be around. It is your own coping skills and how you respond to these people that will determine how they respond back. So you stop giving them your attention, even if they are talking about negative things. It's better to keep quiet or just shift the topic and do not argue with them. Stop thinking about them and try to keep interactions to a minimum. Next. Make an effort to find a positive side in everything. This is very important, and this is very not very difficult, because when you start rewiring your brain starts to pick up all positive things around you, because there are things which usually I have purposefully created a filter in my brain in which I only filter positive things, because I cannot afford negativity, too much negativity in my brain. So you cannot control what happens to you, but one thing that you can control is how you respond back. Like I was talking previously, it's up to you to look for the right side in everything and react most positively, and it's up to you to look at the negative aspect of everything and get distressed and get emotionally charged, angry. It's up to you. Think about all of the things that could go right. So pessimistic people, who are they? They dwell on worries, constantly thinking about क्या गलत हो जाएगा, मैं यूं करूंगा तो ये हो जाएगा, ये नहीं ठीक होगा. When you catch yourself worrying, make a list of potential positive outcomes. It is the first technique, because initially you won't be able to just think of positive things in your mind. You have to write them down. You can write them down, list in your head, and type it on your phone. Our younger generation is really good at typing on the telephone. They can just keep the positive things in the notes. At first, it might be hard not to think of things that can go wrong. But when this happens, answer the negative thoughts with a positive thought. अगर ये negative है तो इसका क्या positive हो सकता है? If I was unable to get good marks or grades in one exam, so what could be the positive side of this? Students say, madam, इसकी क्या positive side है? This is an indicator for you to work hard for your next exam. So everything has a positive side. Okay, ji. Surround yourself with positive and happy people. This is what I have learned after decades, that I should be with positive and negative, not negative people with me. So I have audited the circle around me. I have audited the friends. And I seek out friends that have a positive outlook of life and limit the time I spend with overly negative people. I cannot absorb that much. So I just audit myself from them. Nurture the friendship you have, and good friends don't come along every day. Don't lose them with your negativity, with your negative speech, with your arguments, with your criticism, with your excessive demands. This is very important. So remember to compliment your friends and family when they look good. This is very important. I compliment myself when I think I'm looking good. So what's wrong with it? It's not narcissism. It is to have certain respect, empathy, and love for yourself. people who have empathy and love for themselves, they are the ones who are going to compliment others. And I do compliment my students, my faculty, anybody who is around me. I feel किसी दिन अच्छे लग रहे हैं, whether they have done something good. So it also gives back the same positivity. Try it out. Let go of blame. Blame doesn't serve any purpose. If it only wastes your energies like तुमने मेरे लिए ये नहीं किया, तुमने यूं नहीं किया, तुम्हें यूं करना चाहिए था, मुझे फलाने ने उस टाइम ये नहीं कहा, उसने मुझे इस तरह जवाब दिया. Instead, focus your energy on what can be done to remedy the situation. So usually we keep on bickering about and letting out all negativity rather than focusing on the solutions. If somebody has done something negative for you, just forget it, focus on the positive solutions. Take care of yourself. Nothing else in life will matter if you are in poor health. Believe me, if you have no energy and you are negative, nobody is going to help you out. Successful people work out, eat healthy, and take care of themselves at every level possible, at medical level, at psychological level. And there is no substitute for feeling good and knowing you are in a position to give your best effort. Now, I would be briefly talking about how to build gratitude. तुम अपने रब की कौन सी नेमतों को झुटलाओगे, and how are we going to build that gratitude that is much needed and that is much talked about in Quran also. So write down the things you are grateful for. अगर नहीं याद आती तो लिखें. I'm grateful to 3 things I hear. I'm grateful to 3 things I see. And then you can just be grateful to people in your life, to a good family, if you are earning, if you still have a job, if you still are healthy. These are the things you can be grateful for. Just make small slips and that keep them in a jar. There can be days, the gloomy days, you can just pick out one thing, read it, and feel the positivity. You can send out heartfelt messages to fellow colleagues, to students, like thank you for being here, what I love about you is, and what are my wishes, and any positive statements. I have been receiving text messages when the first wave of pandemic started. Ma'am, how are you feeling? I hope everything is good. It made me feel very good. So I used to give out the positive messages in WhatsApp groups in my class, and then the students used to say, yes, madam, we can feel that somebody is there for us. So all these things are very important. So next, please. Forgive and forget. This is very important. What people who are not mentally healthy, they don't forget and they don't move on in life. Flow is very important in life. You have life is like a drama. It's an act. Acts keep on changing. People will enter in your life. They will stay. Some will stay for a longer time. Some are going to stay for a shorter period, and then they will leave. So you just consider that life is like a stage. It is a temporary life. So you have to develop a forgiving style. Initially, what I used to do, I used to be very angry at people. जब वो गाड़ी के आगे शीशा साफ करने लग जाते थे, और beggars would just knock at my car. But then I thought, these are the ones who don't have the amount of exposure, the social skills we have. So just let them go. वो इनके ऊपर गुस्सा करने का फायदा ही नहीं है. So आहिस्ता आहिस्ता I started learning this skill. Don't go to sleep angry. This is the worst thing. This is the worst killer. Even a bigger virus than the coronavirus if you go angry, and if you're angry and you're going to sleep. पहले तो नींद नहीं आएगी, अगर आ जाएगी तो it would be really disturbing. नींद sustaining sleep would be very difficult. There's one of another very interesting statement of Buddha is, please listen carefully. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. So don't expect if you're angry, the other person is going to give an heed to it. They are going to see it. So holding on to anger does not bring anything. Just it gives you that overwhelming state of emotional ill-being. So try to find out what triggers an anger response in yourself. There can be people who can trigger. There can be different triggers in your life. There can be different events. There can be different thoughts. You have to find out the triggers for yourself. So usually what we try to do cognitive restructuring for our clients and for people, like usually what people tell me that there is a situation and I'm really pissed off and I'm really bothered and I'm angry. So when I asked, I called my stand up, she did not pick up the phone. How dare she did not pick up the phone? So there can be other reasons also. You can, it is basically your belief system that makes you think that she is not purposefully picking up your phone. But and the consequences would be an unhealthy anger. You start thinking that I am not going to call her again. How dare she? Ye flana. So change your thoughts. There can be multiple other reasons why she is not picking up your phone. It might be that the telephone is on charge, she is in the kitchen, she is doing some other work. So when you think of alternatives in your thoughts, they end up into healthy emotions. Okay, we have another question. We have what to do. What to do if we have to live with those people who are negative and criticize most of the time. We try to ignore, but they have to have to face it. Please guide and suggest a strategy. So I already talked about the people who you have to live with, and there will be people in your family. It is how you cognize your own self, how you think about those things, how you find time out for yourself, and how you just don't ignore those people and not reinforce them. Because if we respond back either verbally or non-verbally, अपने facial gesture से, so that behavior is going to be reinforced. So it is better that you work on your mental health. The world is not going to move the way you want it to move. You have to learn to cope with all these things. Okay?
Okay.
So anger is you have to involve yourself in physical activity. You have to take time out. You have to involve yourself in productive activities, because anger is also a type of energy. You have to let it go through sublimation of positive activities. So brief tips to manage anger, like angry people will jump up to conclusions and they will start responding back. Just wait and listen carefully to the other person, what they have to say before answering, and then answer back. Just changing your environment will be helpful in order to reduce the anger. Take a break, take time out. If somebody feels really pissed off with a chaotic room, we can just close the door. It's not important to respond every time angry. Just clean the room. We have seen our mothers, they will say that what sort of room is this. Just leave certain things, just cut off the stimulation of certain things that make you feel angry. Next. Now, how to control negative thoughts, cognitive triads, and irrational beliefs, like somebody asked, like write one positive about good thing, positive good thing about a bad situation, which I already talked about. What is the opportunity in this bad situation? Like I gave you the example of a student who was unable to get good grades. So it can be eye-opening for that student to work hard. Who are the three most negative people I spend time with? Just keep an eye on those people. If you have people within your family and they are gifted to you, just then try to cut off the people outside the family जिनको आप audit कर सकते हैं. Within the family you cannot audit. You can learn to cope and how to respond to these people. Identify three most negative sources of information. Because when pandemic started, one thing was what I felt was that people used to just keep on sitting on the social media, and they used to take in all sorts of irrelevant, negative, non-authentic information without realizing that how much negativity this information was causing. Like they used to keep on listening to the news that so many people died because of the virus, and they used to keep on looking at the images of the coffins being shown in the Italy, and all sorts of negative information. It's very important that you have to cut down your media diet also. So at times what I do is I am a person who loves using media, but I have set up certain times, and then after a certain period of time, I shut off my internet so that I am unable to go through that media, because it can be very addictive at times. Okay. So now, avoid labeling things as good or bad. This is very important, that we have, nothing is black and white. When you start thinking in black and white terms, it usually ends up making you more depressed. So think of everything as an opportunity, and humans are born with the concept of good or bad. We learn it through modeling, learn it through different learning techniques. So you can change how you approach life by rejecting the labels you have already learned. कि ये ठीक है, ये बुरा है, ये अच्छा, उसके बीच में कुछ नहीं है. Human brain, human behavior, human emotions fall over a continuum. This is nothing black and white. So very important, people just call me up and they say that we have got everything in life, but still we are very unhappy souls. So what is lacking in these people? There are certain things that are lacking in these people. So what do they really want in life? You have to find out, what do I want in life? What's most important to me? Because many of us won't even know the answer of these questions, like where do I see myself in 5 years, 10 years? You have to define certain things. What am I really good at? Many of us found out the answer to this question during the first wave of pandemic, that many of us were so good at cooking, at knitting, at painting, and all sorts of these activities. G, next. Sleep issues, like I was talking about sleep hygiene, it is very important. Limit your daytime nap. If people nap during the day, not more than 30 minutes during the daytime. Reduce your intake of nicotine, caffeine, and exercise a lot. And don't eat too much junk food. I don't say don't eat junk food. Go in for junk food. It can give you that positive hormonal boost to be happy, but limit the junk food. Eat on time and give a lot of time before you go to sleep for the food to digest. G, next. Exposure to natural light is very important. Considering the weather these days, it is very important for us to sit in the daylight and a regular bedtime routine. If I talk about myself, for ages, I have set up a routine. I don't even change my routine during the weekends also. Even during family weddings, I tell everybody that I am going to go to sleep at this time, and that is final. And the entire house would be sleeping when I would get up and start my activities. So this is what I have trained my brain and my body to do now. And now I cannot afford to change it. And I think so it has really worked well for me. So time management, faculty had problem with time management, and usually we have to limit our distractions. We have to reduce our social media, the time spent on social media, and we have to identify which are the urgent tasks and which are the important tasks. So we have to take up the urgent task first and then the important task. So you have don't delay a task when it is an urgent task. Limit phone calls and conversations, because I think that when I get a call from somebody who has lots and lots of time in life, so when I look at my phone, 40 minutes, so those 40 minutes will be very important for me, maybe not for that other person, but we have to limit certain things, and we have to make a list of what things we have to do every day. I make one every day, and then I ticket mark in my head that these are the things I have accomplished, and these things I will do in the coming day. So activity scheduling, include more activities during your day. So there are people who just are very lazy. They just lie down and just keep watching long operas, long movies. So you have to give time to all aspects of life. You have to go out for a walk, eat well, watch a certain thing, but to a certain extent. Being addicted to social media can also help in reducing the well-being. G, next. So make a conscious effort to stay connected with your family and friends. This is what pandemic taught us, that we need to be interconnected. Though we were physically disconnected, but we were together, and the people who were connected with their family and friends were those who did not lose their mental health. So they were more the social support system, our family system, our togetherness with family and friends is a big buffering factor against negative emotions. Next. Emotional ventilation. It's very important. Keep a diary. Vent out with friends who do not judge you. I am not asking you to vent out everything in front of everyone or on social media. This is very important. People went out on social media, and this is really bad. So this will one day or another backfire. So you need friends and friends who are close to you, who are not going to judge you. So there can be different techniques also in this, and you have to set up boundaries to protect your mental health. There can be things in which you have to say no. I cannot do it because I don't have the energy to do this. So if you don't have energy, if you don't feel like, if it is not of your interest, simply be assertive and say, no, it's not possible for me. You don't have to please everyone. Just remember, if you would try to please everyone, you will end up like the story, a man who tried to please everyone, and in the end, he had to carry the donkey on his shoulders. So be careful. Declutter your surroundings. Try to live in neat and clutter-free rooms, because I have seen people living in rooms in which there is so many things that are so irrelevant and not required by that person. Books हैं, shelves पे भरे हुए हैं, wires हैं, चीजें हैं. This environment, if your environment is so chaotic, remember that your brain is going to pick up these chaotic signal, and it will also be a chaotic sort of a brain thinking of all sorts of negative thoughts. So keep things neat, organized, spacious. What I do is usually I keep flower arrangements, lots and lots of greenery in my house, and I am a lover of nature, so I would keep small pots inside the house so that everything should look green. So going green in your house would be going green in your head also. The next, don't fall for this, get into arguments. People try to hook you, and they try to drain you, and they try to make you negative. And don't compare your life with others, specifically on social media. What we are posting is the best me. I would never post in something that is not my best me. So don't compare yourself with other people's best memories, best feelings, best foot forward. So its virtual world is not the real world. So don't get too much impressed by people's posts also. Okay. So pray. This is very important. We have to be spiritual and religious, not religious to the extent, ek to religious to what is required from us being Muslims, that is something different. But having faith in an ultimate power, the power of God, that is very important. People who are more spiritual, they are more mentally healthy and resilient. Give people the benefit of doubt. अब जरूरी नहीं है हर एक को एक जो है उसको जज किया जाए, जरूरी नहीं है उसको सजा दी जाए उसकी हर सोच पे, उसके हर बिहेवियर पे. Let go of things. You don't have to be very strict, because we are not angels. We are all human beings. So just give people benefit of doubt. अगर आपको लग भी रहा है कुछ गलत हो रहा है आपके साथ, थोड़ा बहुत benefit of doubt दे दिया करें, not for that person but because of your own mental health. And there is another suggestion that's easier said than done, but still worth trying. Instead of getting frustrated with someone, try having compassion and empathy for people. जब आप लोगों के साथ प्यार करेंगे, empathize करेंगे, automatically you will give people benefit of doubt. The next. So in the last, please last slide दिखा दें. So this is your life. Please listen carefully. This is your life. Do what you love and do it often. If you love singing, sing different songs. If you love writing, write different things. And if you don't like something, change it. And if you don't like your job, I would not say quit it. Try to adjust yourself, adjust here. Okay. And if you don't have enough time, stop watching TV. If you are looking for the love of your life, then you can go in, enjoy that feeling. They will be waiting for you when you start doing things you love. Stop overanalyzing. One thing that I always tell people who overanalyze are the ones who are not very happy with life. So travel often, and life is short. And share your passions with your friends, and find time in order to involve in different hobbies and things you love, and be happy with your life, and be thankful and grateful to the God who has given you this life. And I usually talk about half empty and half full glass of water, but a beautiful soul told me that, madam, we should be grateful that we have a glass in our hand. And it was a beautiful thing that that person told me कि half empty की तो आप बात करती हैं और half full की भी करती हैं, लेकिन I believe कि it is not about half empty or half full. It is about having a glass in your hand. So hold on to that glass. Hold on with positivity. And thank you very much for listening to me. And I hope that I was able to convey what I wanted. My sole aim is to convey and to help people and become aware of mental health awareness. And I have my own personal, I don't see clients, but I have my own personal Facebook page, Restorative Psychological Service, on which I keep on posting different posts, 1 minute videos, in order to make people aware and how they can cope with different stressors, relationship issues, and any such things. You can go through that also. Thank you very much for inviting me, and I am really thankful to the Vice Chancellor of University of Education, Ms. Sadia, and best wishes.
Thank you so much, madam, for your session. Well, I know you are running short of time and you are quite busy in your commitments. Well, we have a couple of questions, so I'm happy to put this question for you. We have a faculty member, Ms. Amina Safdar. She is asking you what to do if we have to live with the people who have negativity and they do criticism most of the time. We try to ignore, but we have to face it. So please guide some strategies and these suggestions to cope up with the thinking of this.
Okay. This is one of the major questions that always pops up when I give webinars, and I think so that we cannot change the environment. Psychology does not teach us to change the environment. One stressor will be shifted to another stressor. So what we focus on is changing our own thought processes. How much time do we invest thinking about those negative people, thinking about those negative things that happen in our life? I think so we can focus on our positive aspects. We can focus on alternatives. What the negative people in our life are giving messages. Sometimes the negativity of people is a positive step in our own personal and professional growth, because these people are the ones who teach me. What I am today is all because of the negativity that happened around me, and that negativity ultimately I tried to handle it and think about all the positives in that activity, and I landed up rewiring my brain to a more positive brain.
Yeah. There is another question. Does the level of tolerance fluctuates with stress and the negativity? I have seen people, they lose patience in the difficult situation, and how can we handle the problematic situation with some calmness?
Okay, so basically the question is about low frustration tolerance, anger management. Like we teach our clients different stress management techniques, because when we are short of time, we enter into a state of stress. Then there are time management skills. Basically, all these things are social skills that we have to teach ourselves also, and teach other people how to manage those things. So basically, is this with reference to the workplace?
Yeah, I guess.
So maybe it is basically you cannot change the workplace. One thing is very clear, that you will have a difficult boss, you can have difficult co-workers, you can have all sorts of politics, all sorts of negative campaigning against you. So these things are going to remain there. Just don't expect any miracles. So what you should be doing is to work on your own cognitions, to reduce your level of overthinking, have a more healthy sort of eating habits, just be wise enough not to respond to every negativity, just to think of positives in every negative situations. There are a number of techniques, and if you feel really frustrated, there is a simple technique, that is a empty chair technique, in which we make the client sit on one chair and there is an empty chair there, and you talk with the other thing, maybe the other negative person, your boss or anything, and you just talk to that person, and then you go and sit on the other end of the chair, on the empty chair, and you be the boss and you talk to yourself. So this gives a perspective of both ends, the boss perspective and the colleague perspective also.
Yeah. Madam, there is another question. How we can remain calm when facing people with undesirable gestures? Passive emotions?
Okay, so basically there are different sorts of people who we have to interact. There will be bipolar personalities. There can be other sort of people with real personality disorders, and it is difficult to live with these people. It is indeed. But the most important thing is that we should audit, and we should just have a look on how we respond back to them. We have to be very wise. both verbal gestures as well as non-verbal gestures, and again time out. If these sort of people are living with us, then we need time out. We have to invest in our own positive things. We have to invest in ourselves. We have to be more efficiently dealing with our own emotions. We have to give ourselves time. We have to love ourselves. We don't have to fall prey to whatever they are talking about and making us our self-esteem go down the drain. So these are the people who are really people with personality disorders, maybe not diagnosed personality disorders, because people don't think, people who are really have these traits don't feel that they have some problem with themselves. So we have to use different emotional ventilation is another technique which I talked about. Empty chair technique can be used. Cognitive restructuring can be used for this purpose. Okay. And still, if you feel you are not okay, another important thing, if you feel that you are still unhappy with your life and still don't feel okay, it's okay not to be okay. You can always seek a counseling session for this thing. Mm-hmm. It's there are counselors out there who can help you in a deeper process.
So, ma'am, may I ask, you conduct some sort of the counseling sessions for the faculty? If someone would like to register for your
basically, I am not doing any counseling sessions because of my number of other multiple commitments, but definitely we have counselors and we have our professionals. And we started off when the pandemic started. Being the director of the Institute of Applied Psychology, I set up the largest mental health helpline that was free of cost. It was a volunteer helpline. We had volunteers, 250 psychologists, and nearly covering all the parts of Pakistan. So we have psychologists out there, we have clinical psychologists, we have health psychologists. So in case you need any reference, so I can just give you the reference.
Okay. So last question, how we can do the self-analysis and what are the useful ways to introspect about ourselves?
Okay, so this was one of the things which I talked about. It is very important to introspect about three things: your thoughts, what you are thinking, and what are the real thoughts that keep popping up in your mind on daily basis. आप उस पे chart बना सकते हैं. You can have the type of thoughts that pop up in your head, and what is the frequency of these thoughts, and what is the intensity of these thoughts, and your emotions. What sorts of emotions do you feel? Are you usually angry? Are you usually depressed? Are you usually stressed? So, and what are the different behaviors? So you have to introspect about all these things, and introspection about events that that are disturbing to you, about people who disturb you, introspection about everything. So you have to have a deep self-awareness in order to find out that what are the things that are creating the feeling of say depression, stress, or anxiety in you.
Madam, sometimes it happens when the person, when it comes to a boss is teasing or bothering to some person, and it's a continuous process, and the employees are just helpless. They can't do anything. And in that way, the employees are, they are getting the patient of depression and anxiety because they cannot fight against their boss or the authority. Then what should the employees do?
Okay, this is very unfortunate, and mostly in many large setups, I have seen that in which bosses do suffer from personality disorders, and we cannot change their personalities. What I recommend here is that there should be a counselor in every organization for the people, because this is definitely not a counseling session. I cannot go into depth of the therapeutic techniques being utilized, but yes, it is really draining for the people, mental health, and specifically their productivity also, that cynicism and all these things that the bosses use. And I think so there is a megalomaniac tendency in few of the people. When they reach the heights, they think that they are the god, and this god complex comes in. So what I suggest is that all the universities, all the organizations, especially multinational, do consider, and they have the psychologists on their panel. So for the sessions, definitely the boss is not going in for a session, so it would be the person who is getting disturbed. They can go in for therapeutic sessions, and they are really helpful at times.
But it is,
and we have personality assessment at the time of hiring also.
Yeah. Anyhow, thank you, Dr. Rafia. On behalf of University of Education, thank you so much for accepting my invitation and conducting a lovely, amazing session on faculty mental well-being during pandemic. That's a need of the current scenario. Thank you for sharing the useful ways to control the negative thoughts and the negative thinking and revealing good and positive gestures through communication with each another. Thank you once again, and I'm looking forward to meeting you in our future webinar sessions. And thank you. You know, you made me a happy person, and I'm really, really feeling good. Yes, and if I start smile on my face, so I can give a positive gestures to other people. So I really, really enjoyed your session, and thank you so much for.
Thank you, Sadia. Thank you. Stay blessed, everyone. Love yourself and live a happy life because you only live once. Allah
Yes,
Hafiz.
Allah
Take
Hafiz.
care.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much, dear audience, for joining us today. And I will circulate the post assessment of the webinar today later in the evening, so you can send the feedback through that questionnaire that how we can further improve the webinars. Thank you so much, Wasim.